Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. This is Vishnupriya, and here we are on 97th episode of the Zero Point Healing Show. And today we are going to talk about this beautiful modality or a tool. We are still confused on what to call access consciousness as. But, anyways, that's what we are going to discuss today and how we can unlock our own capacities using the beautiful tools that access consciousness gives us. Before I move on to my amazing guest here, just a short intro about me. As I said, I am Vishnupriya and I'm certified in multiple different healing modalities. And through my journey into these healing modalities, I was able to discover so many different ones, and I was able to see how each modality has its own uniqueness and how it kind of helped me move from one step of my life into another as I was doing these different modalities. And I feel that is what kind of motivated me to launch this kind of a platform, that which I call zeropointhealing.com. It is a web directory that I've created for all sorts of different holistic healing modalities, and there are so many different practitioners, facilitators, therapists who are registered on the site now. So if you are looking for any kind of solutions in your life, if you are kind of stuck with any major challenge that you're facing in your life, zeropointhealing.com can kind of give you access to so many different types of healing modalities and different types of practitioners all over the globe who can help you, assist you in overcoming any kind of challenges that you're facing in your life. And if you are a holistic healing practitioner yourself, I invite you to zeropointhealing.com. You can register for free, as well as if you're interested in one such interview with me, you can contact me for that as well. That's it, my short intro here. So welcome. Bianca, thank you so much for being with me today. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your beautiful journey into access consciousness.
So hello, thank you for having me on your show today. Yes, so before Access Consciousness, I was actually an accountant. And after the accountant, I became a fashion buyer. And I had been doing that basically since I was 17 years old. I was doing more the business side and working in the corporate world. And then when I was introduced to Access Consciousness about 5 years ago through my brother, Jake, and my mum, Christina, and they started to tell me about the tools of Access Consciousness and what they did for them. They were doing this tool called Who Does This Belong To? Return to sender with consciousness attached for any thought, feeling, and emotion you had. And I was like, okay, I'll try this out. So I remember going to work, and because I worked in I was fashion buyer. Working in that environment is very stressful, and you're working with, so much around you. So I actually went to work that day, and I was like, I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to see what happens. And I use this tool, and I'm like, oh my God, wow. Like my day was just so much different than what it was any other day it had been. So then I just kept using these tools. I started to watch Dr. Dane Heer, co-founder of Access Consciousness, or his Tour of Consciousness videos. I used to watch them like every single day. And I started to learn more and more tools of Access Consciousness. And then eventually I was like, you know what? He kept talking about this thing called access bars. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to find someone. My mum actually found an access bars facilitator, and she actually got her to come to our house, and she actually taught myself, my mum, my brother, and even my brother's friend did it as well. So we all learned it together. And once we having it done, we just kept running it every day. Like me and my brother would run bars on each other every single day for like months on end. And we just was like, this is just so awesome what this is doing. And ever since we did that, our lives changed. Like me and my brother, we would be able to have 2 minutes of conversation together, and that was it. After we started writing bars on each other and doing all these access consciousness processes, we actually changed our whole relationship. He's actually, I actually work with him in his business called Guitar of Consciousness, and I'm his worldwide coordinator. And I basically do all his business side and contribute to him on that as well. As well as I also have my own business of Access Bars Facilitator. I teach Access Bars. It's a 1-day course that you can learn. And I also do sessions on as well, offer sessions on Access Bars and other access consciousness body processes as well. So that's basically and yes, so I went from being working in the business world to choosing to do and facilitate consciousness so more people can start having more ease in their life. That's basically my little journey.
Wow, that's beautiful. Doing access bars for so many days consecutively. So how many days do you think you would have done that?
I'm in the beginning, we just went crazy because in the beginning I kind of left my job as a fashion buyer, so I had time on my hands. So like we would do it every day. Like every day we used to do it. Like some days we would even do it twice a day. Like we'd do it in the morning and like, you know what, let's do it again. Like we were just like, how can we use this tool to our advantage? It's just like what the access bars has done for me. Like I can't even put into words on how much it has done for me and how grateful I am for Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here, the founders of Access Consciousness, for actually bringing this out and actually allowing people to like, not only like they can, like people can learn it, like you can learn it in one day. And then after one day, like when I first learned it, I had no desire to actually facilitate it. I was just like, I'm just doing this to change, have more ease in my life. And then once I noticed all the changes that were occurring in my life, and then you'd have people come up to you and you say, what are you doing? Like you're happy now. Like you look different. Like it just, people used to say, like my friends used to be kind of like what are you doing? Like you seem just really different. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this thing called access bars. And from that, I was like, you know what, how much fun could I have with actually facilitating this on other people that have no idea about this? Because, the world out there isn't meant for kindness and gratitude and ease. It's kind of the total opposite. So for me, when I found this, it was just like, this changed my life. And I didn't even have a horrible life to begin with. My life was, in this reality, was like you had a good life. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I was stressed. I was, always like I didn't sleep. I had constant headaches. There were so many things that were occurring. I didn't talk to my family. We used to fight all the time. So those things just changed. And it was just by using the tools of access consciousness and obviously having my bars run.
Wow, that should have been amazing, especially for me. I did not, as soon as I completed my access bars, I did not have people around me who could do it. So sometimes, yeah, so sometimes only when I go to my family, I can do it too. Beautiful. So now let's get into the topic for today. So first, let's begin with what is access consciousness for somebody who's completely new about what this is all about. Tell us maybe a short intro about the bars itself, and then tell us what are these kind of different tools with access consciousness that one can use to change their lives.
Yeah. So first, access bars is basically the first body process in access consciousness and the first class as well. And it's basically 32 points all in our head. We touch different points on the head. And what they do is they just unlock everywhere that you're stuck in your life, anywhere where you've got any limitations, overthinking, stress, anything that's not happening in your life that's not happening with ease. There's probably something that's holding that. There's a point of view that you've bought, whether it was when you were a little kid or even now, that's stuck in your body and your being and not allowing you to have ease in that area. The bars actually helps to release that so you can have ease. So that's basically what the bars does. And it also teaches us to receive. That's what the main target is for the access bars. It teaches us to learn how to receive. And for access consciousness is part of, it's the company of access bars. Basically, access consciousness is out there to empower you to know that you know. It gives you tools to empower you to be who you are. It gives you tools to empower you to have your difference. It gives you tools to empower you to unlock your capacities that you have, that you've probably never thought were a capacity or you were told were a wrongness of you. So how many capacities do you have that you've never acknowledged? And usually the capacities that you have is usually stuff that you kind of enjoy. Like for me, I actually really, really enjoy business. Like I love looking at spreadsheets and numbers and doing all that stuff. And for me, that was just so much fun. But then for someone else, like for my mom or my brother, they hated doing that. Like I used to talk to them about numbers and stuff, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like for them, it was just like, I don't know, it's like you're talking a different language. So for me, that was a capacity. And that's the same for everyone else. You all have your own capacity that you're not even aware that you have, or you doubt it. Because it's easy for you, you think it's easy for everyone else, but it's not. So access consciousness, by using the tools that access consciousness have, it allowed me to actually notice what my capacities were and start acknowledging them and start using them to my advantage. And you can actually ask yourself, you can go, okay, what are my capacities? And then you can even say, universe, show me what my capacities are. And the universe will show you. Something will show up and it will show you, okay, this is something. And then you even notice, oh, I really like doing this. And you can ask, is this a capacity of mine? And you normally would get a yes or a no. So just, ask that question and just play with it and see what shows up.
That's so beautiful. And I see you have already started using some of the tools of access consciousness. So now let's discuss about that. So a question like, what capacities do I have? Can be a small tool of access itself. So talk to us through, what are these different tools and what happens when we are asking these questions? How is it that we are maybe receiving reply from the universe? Again, for people who might not even know what this is all means.
Well, it can come as easy because sometimes we're not aware as well. Like for me, I used to really hate writing at school. It was like I used to be really good at it actually. Now that I look at back, or even like now, but for myself, I used to be like, I thought I was horrible. I thought I was the worst writer, even though I got really high scores in English. And then one day I had to write something, and my mum goes to me, she goes, can you write this for me? I don't know how to word it. Like, I don't know how to write it in a shorter form than you do. And I said, no, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. And then she goes, what are you talking about? And I said, no, I can't do that for you. And she goes, but you got such a talent for it. And I'm like, no, I don't. And she's like, you do. So I'm like, okay. And I still didn't want to do it. It took like, I don't know, I kept asking her to do it. And then one day she didn't want to do it. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. So I just started writing what I had to write. And after I read it, she read it. She's like, wow. Even I was like, I even surprised myself. I read it and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I read this. Like, so you kind of surprise you. Like that was me having, like I had obviously a capacity there, but I didn't want to know that I had that capacity. Or maybe at school, someone told you you didn't do that good enough, or you didn't get the result that you expected from somewhere. So then you bought that actually wasn't a capacity, you were wrong for that. So you kind of just got to start being kind of like listen to the whispers, because that's how it's going to show up for you, for your capacities. And it is usually stuff that, so say for instance, that was uncomfortable for me. That was uncomfortable for me to actually write what they wanted me to write. So when I actually did it, it was easy. Like, when you do something and it's just so hard and you just can't do it. Sometimes that may not be your capacity, but if you start doing it and it becomes easy for you once you're actually in it, not the thought of it, not the thinking of it, just actually doing it, that can be a capacity for you. And people have many different capacities. Like it can be a capacity to have more, like communicate with the earth. You can have a capacity to, be able to talk to anyone. You can have a capacity to sing. You can have a capacity to play an instrument. Like it can be many different things. Have a capacity with business. Have a capacity of speaking. Like, your capacity, you do the interview. So obviously that's one of your capacities, is interviewing and speaking to people. Like not everyone can do that. It's a talent that you have. So it's just just acknowledging when you actually have that capacity, because they're the capacities that are going to contribute to you. And no one else has a capacity that you have. No one. A lot of people can do, like we can do a lot of things. We can do many things, but you are going to have a capacity that no one else can do the way you do. So you're quite vital to the planet and being you. So every time you're being you with your capacities, you can actually change the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And you contribute, and you contribute to other people choosing their capacities too.
Perfect. And I also see there is the stepping into you classes that you offer that might go deeper into this. Is that right?
Oh yes, yes. It's like it's based on the book that Dr. Dane He wrote, Being You, Changing the World. And it just gives you tools on how to actually be you. Like before Access Consciousness, I didn't actually know who I was. I just brought on what other people told me. Other people told me, oh yes, you like this, oh you do this, you're like this. So then because people tell you that, you start to adapt that personality or that persona. But is that really you? Do you actually like those things? So that's the thing with these tools, and with like Being You, Changing the World, and the book and everything in the intro class, it does help you to start unlocking all those places where you bought that's not you, so you can actually start having you and being you and knowing who you actually are. So yes.
Yes. So can you tell us maybe a little bit about the classes and the services you offer that goes along the same lines?
Yes, so I do offer access. I do facilitate Access Consciousness bars classes, which is that's a 1-day class where you actually learn the bars. And once you learn the bars, you actually can become a practitioner once you've learned the bars, and you can actually offer sessions as well with that. I also do other intro classes on particular topics. In every month, I might do a different one. I am doing one called Stepping Into Being You, which is an intro class based on Dr. Dane He's book, Being You, Changing the World. And that basically it's a 4-hour workshop I'm offering, and it's going to be online. And basically you'll get a manual. We'll do a lot of tools and questions that Access Consciousness offer. And you can actually ask me questions too on the call as well, to ask your question if you have any questions in relation to like what's going on in the class and your own stuff. And then I just help to facilitate you, to allow you to be more of you. That's the whole thing with Access Consciousness. We're not, and with the facilitators, we're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to tell you that you have to do bars, you have to do the tools. We're here to facilitate what you know, because you know what's going to work for you. What's going to work for me is going to be completely different to what's going to work for you. So with the tools, it's actually unlocking your capacities, your knowing, your stuff that's going to allow you to be more of you. And so you can start enjoying your life. And that's basically the whole what Access Consciousness is about. Their mantra is, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory.
Yes, and those three words I think means a lot. Ease, joy, and glory are things maybe that we are not choosing in our lives, right? Most of us are going through so much pain and suffering and problems. Again, it's a choice, is what Access Consciousness says. If you would like to have ease and joy and glory, it's a choice that you need to make, which is like, okay, why am I not choosing ease?
Well, we're not taught that. Like if you look at, even in school, you're not really taught, you're not taught to have ease. You're not taught to have joy. How many people actually enjoy going to school? I actually quite enjoy learning about new things. But going to school, like, it was really difficult for me, like really difficult. And if you didn't get it the way you want it, like I loved numbers, and like every single career I've had, I worked in business and I worked in numbers, and in actual school, I failed maths because the teacher always told me, you didn't work it out the right way. And I'm like, but I have the answer. And they're like, yeah, but that's not how you meant to work it out. And I'm like, okay. And because I didn't work it out how they wanted me to work it out, my answer was always wrong, even though I already knew the answer. So for me, I actually disliked maths really. That was my work. I used to, like, if I could get out of going to maths, I would. And yet when I left school, I actually became an accountant. I became a fashion buyer. I was working with numbers, like in the fashion industry, I had to work with millions of dollars of numbers, of forecasting and doing all this stuff. Yet in school, my teacher basically told me that you don't know anything about mathematics. So it's only because I really loved it that I still chose it. But how many people that your teachers, your parents, your family, your friends, anyone tells you something when you're really little, and even though they're not telling you that to stop you for life, they're just trying to tell you so you improve, or whatever they know at that time. it can affect you in the future. So that's what access consciousness is about, and having all of life comes to you with ease and joy and glory. You know, you can have that. It is available to you, and it is a choice available to you.
Amazing.
And it actually, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And it actually like access consciousness gives you the tools to actually start having ease, joy, and glory. Because
Yes.
before access, like if someone said to me, you can have all of life comes to you with ease and joy and glory, I would have been like, what are you talking about? This life's about all of life comes to us with suffering, pain, and drama. You know, it's completely the opposite. So, you know, unless you have these tools available, and that's what I want to offer to other people, is actually help contribute to getting access consciousness more out there, so people can, that are interested in something different, can actually choose something different. So I know how much it's changed my life.
Yes. All right. So now let's get into the short session that you have for us. So my dear
Yes.
viewers, Bianca kind of told me that she can kind of offer a short access session. So let's see what comes up.
So what we can do, we can say whenever you're feeling a bit heavy, or you may not have enough, some energy, you're feeling tired, you're feeling a bit weak, just out of it, you can actually ask, we can do this little exercise. You can actually just ask to expand yourself out. So basically just ask right now, if you're just sitting down, you can close your eyes if you want, you can have them open, and just ask to expand yourself out in 5,000, we'll just do 100 kilometers. Expand yourself out in 100 kilometers. Now expand yourself out in 1,000 kilometers. Now expand yourself out in 10,000 kilometers. Now expand yourself out in 100,000 kilometers. And just get a sense of what it's like to be in this space. Now, right now in this space, like, did all that stuff that you had before dissipate? Do you have a more sense of like ease and just peace within yourself right now? You can do this tool as many times as you like.
That's
Whenever
amazing.
you're feeling, yeah, like say if you're going to the shopping center, do this tool before you walk into the shopping center. Do it while you're in the shopping center. Like you can do this tool at work. You can do this tool, like just do it in your head. You don't have to close your eyes and do all that. You can just have your eyes open, so people, you know, around you, if you don't want them to look at you, but just do this, and it just can give you a more sense of space and peace.
Mm-hmm. And I love the way how Access says that we are all infinite beings, and the more we feel ourselves as that infinite being, I think the more ease that life can bring to us. So I feel this tool is like absolutely getting us into that infiniteness of ourselves.
Well, definitely, because it's like the ocean. When you're as big as the ocean, which that is kind of doing, if you were to chuck a rock in the ocean, you wouldn't even notice that you chucked it. But when you're like a puddle of water, which we like to, when you're contracted, if you chucked a rock in the puddle of water, that would splash everywhere. It would be a mess. And that's what happens to us when we're contracted. If someone chucks something at us, not necessarily chucks, but say something comes at us and we're contracted, then that affects us a lot more. But if we're expanded out and they're giving us something, then we know how to have more ease with it. And we actually know how to deal with that situation differently, with more calm, if we're expanded out. So yeah, just like try the tool. Like it takes 2 minutes, as you can see, less, and just play with it and see if anything changes for you with it.
Sure. Now, can we use maybe some clearing tools or statements that you would like to provide to the viewers, maybe on the topic of unblocking their capacities?
Okay, so I'll use the clearing statement from Access Consciousness. So if you want more information about the clearing statement, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and that actually explains the words, what I'm saying. And basically, we can say, okay, anything doesn't allow you to unlock your capacities with total ease will you now destroy and uncreate that all? And you can say yes, yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That was the clearing statement. So you can actually use that so it can clear wherever you're blocking yourself from actually knowing what your capacities are. So I'll repeat that again. So anywhere that you're unwilling to know what your capacities are, we destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And you can actually ask. You can ask the universe, show me what my capacities are. Show me what my capacities are. What capacities do I have that I'm not acknowledging? And they will come to you. Mm-hmm. Like you might watch a movie and in there you're like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Maybe you can do that.
Yes, and beautifully, universe.
And it can show you it's exactly. And it will show you in a way. You can even ask, universe, show me in a way that I'm willing to receive. And it will. It will tell you in a way that you can actually receive that information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yes, I think this all goes back to that law of the universe, that ask and receive, right? And I see how Access Consciousness is built, the whole empire on that beautiful law there. The more you ask, the more you will receive, whether it is answers to your questions, or you can ask for abundance, we can ask for more money, or we can ask for good health, or whatever it is that we want, we can simply ask for it. And I feel that itself is that beautiful empowerment, if you will. Just ask and you will receive it.
Yeah. Well, definitely. You can ask, and you can ask for anything, and the universe will provide, as long as you're willing to receive it and willing to be there, present with it. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we do ask for things, but because it hasn't shown up as we think it should, then we're not willing to receive it. It's kind of like when you ask for money, you ask the universe, can I have some more money, please? And then the universe gives you the money, but it shows you in a different way. You know, it might show you that maybe someone shouted you lunch today, so you didn't have to buy your lunch today. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe someone gifted you something that if you had to pay for that, you would have had to spend that much money. So that's how it gifts us to things. We just don't see it because it's not physical cash in our hand.
Right. And now just a question that popped up in my mind. How does your life, a day, look like when you're using? So as access facilitators, I'm sure all of us kind of use these tools over and over again. And for participants who are listening to it for the first time, they might not know how basically they can use it throughout the day. And in fact, the more we use it, the more results we can get. And there would be, in other kind of courses and programs where you go, you learn, and then you don't use it, and therefore we don't get results. On the other hand, access is something that we have to kind of keep using it, and the results are more effective. So you said you had been using the tools for about 2 years before you started as a facilitator. So tell us how you use these tools throughout the day in different events and circumstances.
Well, in the beginning, I just constantly use the tools like who does this belong to, return to sender, for any kind of thought, feeling, or emotion that came up, anything that made me upset, made me feel just not you just have that weird feeling, anything like that came up. If I was upset, angry, worried, I just kind of use that tool, who does this belong to, return to sender, of consciousness attached. And there is obviously so many more tools that you can use. The more you do access, the more you find out more about it, the more tools you receive, the more awareness you gain. So it just helps. I noticed my life before access consciousness compared to what it is now is two different places. Even now, there's still so much more that I can do, and still so much more that I can change. And I'm not saying right now my life's perfect because I've been doing access consciousness for 5 years. I still have days where, I'm upset or angry. It's just now, instead of holding on to it for a whole week or a month or, even longer, I can change it within a few days or even moments. That's the difference it has done. It's not saying you're going to do this and your life's going to be all life comes to me for ease and joy and glory 24/7. because this world isn't all of life comes to me for ease and joy and glory. So, you know, but it does give you the tools to get there. And the more you can, like I invite you, go and watch a video on Dr. Dane here. He has so many videos on YouTube, and just see, like, watch some of his videos from 10 years ago and watch his videos from now. Like, even like you can see the difference that he is and he bees, you know. So like I see his life just gets better and better all the time. So if his life's getting better and better all the time by using these tools, then my life can as well. And it has. So, but it's all your choice, you know. You still have to choose to change what you want to change, you know. So
Yes.
it's just a different possibility available.
Yes, I think it is a lifelong journey of using these tools. And every day we are creating something or the other. We are creating something new or we are creating something old. So it's about we using these tools, and it's like a lifetime asset that we are getting, right? When we have the right tools,
Yes.
just like a mechanic needs the right tools to kind of fix his cars. The more tools, better tools that he has, the quicker he can fix his car. Just similar way,
Exactly.
the more tools that we have in our toolbox, we can use these beautiful tools to change whatever it is that we want to change in our lives. Wow, that was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Bianca. My dear viewers, we are coming to an end of this interview. If you would like to book a session or to book any classes with Bianca, her link is right below this video. You can click on that and you can talk to her, you can contact her and see how she can help you with the different classes and the sessions that she provides, as well as I think the 10% off discount. Did we talk about that, Bianca?
Well, people can, for any classes or sessions that I do besides Access Bars, because that's required from Access Consciousness, I can offer a 10% discount that you can use. And just to say you saw me on the FB Live, and I'll be able to validate that for you.
Yes, sure. So the coupon code that you can at least let her know is the 0 point, is what we kind of use as the code there. So just let her know that you found her from the 0 point healing, and she will give you the 10% off on your first class or on your first session with her. So that's a beautiful gift to you from us. Thank you so much, Bianca. That was a wonderful conversation. Any final words?
No, and just thank you for everyone tuning in. And yeah, whatever you choose, you know, you're a gift to this planet. So you being you can change the world.
Perfect. That's the kind of, I think, the mantra itself with Dane tells us all the time. And every time we hear that, it gives us this new energy. I can be the gift to the world. All right. So that's the word that we are ending with, my dear viewers. I'll see you in my next show. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe and please do share this video with your family members, friends, relatives, anybody who is maybe you feel that this video can contribute to them. Please do share. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to see you in my next show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.